Hey, what's up, you guys? Oberyn Mooney here again. Let's just have a moment of silence for everyone that fucking died in this episode, okay? Because I'm still feeling a little bit emotional right now. All I can say is, hold the door, man. Hold the door. That, I mean, it says so much with saying so little. Hold the door. Fuck, man. Okay. Well, I guess let's just go right into like the main part. I'm really kind of messed up over this. I mean, okay, getting into it, I don't think that Hodor is necessarily dead. I think that Hodor now. Okay, this is actually pretty crazy because I thought that that Bloodraven, for those of you guys that don't know who that is, basically the Third Eye Raven, his real name is Bloodraven, which is what you find out in the books. He's actually a Targaryen. I'm surprised they didn't go into this or say anything about it, because I seriously thought that we were going to find out about Jon's parentage in this. I thought that was going to be the big reveal. However, I never suspected that they were going to go back south with as little as they know, or and that kind of stuff. Like, this was just fucking crazy. But anyway, okay, I think that we can confirm now that basically that it is what many people have believed, that the Children of the Forest did create the White Walkers as a defense mechanism during the war of human aggression, I guess you could call it, or the War of the Dawn Age, when the First Men were fighting against the Children of the Forest. I think the Children of the Forest, as they said, they got so desperate that they created the White Walkers. Basically, that's what they, so I think that's basically confirmation of where they came from and how they got created. That doesn't really explain any more about the White Walkers. I mean, like, they're actually basically the perfect weapon against humanity. You know what I mean? Like they basically, they kill, but then what they kill, they use as their army. I mean, I don't know if the children like used a specific spell. Like, if they knew this, did they create this themselves? Because damn, you know what I mean? Like, this was pretty crazy. I mean, they're basically liches. So Children of the Forest created the White Walkers. We don't know exactly. So I think maybe we can assume, but once again, this is an assumption, that White Walkers hate humanity just because they were geared that way. They once were humans. They are basically corrupted humans by a spell from the Children of the Forest that made them into these White Walkers. However, it's kind of like, okay, so at what point? I mean, so we're thinking now that the Night's King, does he have like a personal vendetta? He seems like he remembers. He seems like he's somewhat sentient. I mean, if he saw Bran and then he said, oh, and then he was able to be like, oh, okay, this guy, I know who Bran is. I need to go kill Bran because he's going to be the new trainer that Bloodraven is training. I mean, that shows that that he is now out of the control of the Children of the Forest. So what happened there? You know what I mean? Like, what happened with the Children of the Forest that made them lose control over the White Walkers? Or did the White Walkers basically, were they just so powerful that they just overthrew the Children of the Forest? Anyways, so basically Bloodraven's cave, Bran's whole training just got like a serious, like, abrupt ending, basically just because Bran was like being a curious kid. I mean, I don't know if I hope they kind of explained it better in the book, because that was a very like, oh dang, like, Bran, you fucked up, you know what I mean? Like, you should not have touched that root, man. Like, I know that you were curious, but no, like, that was just stupid. However, I kind of wonder, like, if he was looking into what Bloodraven was dreaming about, why was Bloodraven looking at that whole, why was he dreaming about that whole thing? Because what we basically saw was a werewood, but then when they went back to it, it was like a fell werewood. It was like a dark werewood. Instead of being white, it was like black and that kind of stuff, and like frozen. So that looked really interesting. You know what I mean? It was almost like an abomination of, maybe it was like an abomination of a ritual of how they create a heart tree. I mean, who knows? That's what I kind of feel, is because, like, why would the werewood, when Bran went there and he was spotted by the Night King, why would he, like, why would he see the werewood, and why would it be important for it to be all black and gnarly like that? Anyway, So yeah, so basically, I think those are the last children of the forest. So it looks like they basically got eradicated. Um, Summer, oh man, dire wolves are dropping like flies, man. Summer got killed off and that kind of stuff. Oh man, oh that was harsh. That was really really hard. But I assume he died. I mean, it looked like he died. Gave his life to help Bran and that kind of stuff. Mira looks like she survived. So basically, they look like they're headed at least to the wall. If not, I'm thinking that I think Bran is going to end up going to to House Reed, and that kind of stuff, to basically to Greywatch or Greywater Keep, excuse me. And so that's really interesting. Okay, so kind of done, going with that. There's just so much lore in like the far north that it's just so awesome. I love the lore up there. I love the White Walkers. They're very Nordic in the way that they feel. So that was amazing. I can't wait to watch this episode again. Anyway, going to Castle Black. That's an interesting turn of events there. Kind of want to go to touch on the whole Sansa versus Littlefinger thing first. Really glad to see her stand up against Littlefinger. I was so stoked on it. I was like, thank you. Finally, she finally has like this like badass moment. And Sansa, and it's kind of worth it because Sansa needs a badass moment, and she's finally showing that she's like grown up. You know what I mean? She is no longer the victim. She has her own game now, and she's playing her game. She's consolidating her power with the Blackfish. She knew that she did not want to get Littlefinger's help because he's no longer trustworthy. I was worried because I thought that she was going to try and manipulate her way and let pretend to like forgive Littlefinger and then let him come back. But I'm glad that she didn't, because it's like Littlefinger is like a snake. You cannot trust him even being around you that close. So basically, however, though, I think that's going to be interesting, because if Sansa tries to contact the Blackfish, that might look like an aggressive act towards the Iron Throne. I really wonder how they're going to kind of take it. I wonder how the Iron Throne is going to take it if the Starks do rise up again in the North, because that's going to be a problem. You know what I mean? Like, are they going to squash it? They're going to try to squash it before it starts. Are they going to try to send people north? That's going to be stupid if that's the case. But I mean, who knows? Because in King's Landing right now, from what we see, the only force there is the Tyrell force that basically looks like it's going to get decimated in King's Landing. That just looks like it's total bad ideas. So anyway, you have the Vale Knights ready to go in the north. So that's about, I forget the power, it's about 5,000. And like what John was talking about with Sansa, that there's about 24 more northern houses that would probably, honestly, for the sake of being loyal to the Starks, and Northerners are just much more loyal, probably would join them, and they would number the Bolton's forces, if not outnumber them, if the Vale does come into the fold with that. So that's going to be interesting. I really hope that Sansa and Jon don't get this rift with each other, because I really want the Starks to be cool with each other. I really don't want them to be divided. I mean, I understand Brienne's whole suspicion of Davos and Melisandre, but Davos, she has to admit that Davos is a good guy. I mean, Davos is a good guy. He's really been one of those people that are eternally on the right side of history, kind of like Bernie Sanders. Sorry, don't mean to get political, but you know what I mean. He's basically been on the right decision, except for the whole Renly thing. However, the way I look at it, Renly should not have been king. He had he did not deserve to even pretend to be king. So to me, that was actually a good act that they killed him off, because I think that it would have happened regardless. Who knows at that point? But anyway, so yeah, with Castle Black, nice to see them finally on the move. Jon has actually left Castle Black. Castle Black is no longer Jon. He's wearing the Stark regalia. I thought that was awesome that Sansa made that for him, and her dress with the wolf on it was badass too. So that moment, the Starks are really having a lot of feel good moments finally, and I'm so thankful. Because as we go back down, we'll hit up Braavos real quick, and I was so stoked to see that we finally got a glimpse into the Mercy chapter. For any of you book readers, there was a Mercy sample chapter from the Winds of Winter, and it very much kind of resembled what Arya did in this in this episode. It's really one of those things that was like, I mean, it could have been, I feel like, of course, if they had went by the book, it would have been better, because honestly the book story is just so awesome. However, they already kind of covered that. So because in the book she kills someone that she already kind of killed, well, well, whatever, she kills someone that's on her list, and then that's why they make her go blind. So they've already covered all of that. So basically, we're way into the Winds of Winter with her. I think that's really awesome that we got to see the basically faces of the first Faceless Men, and that we did get confirmation that the Faceless Men were the ones that founded Bravos, or at least they're claiming that they're the ones that founded Bravos. However, I think that makes some pretty good sense if you like kind of pay attention to the Faceless Men, and like just like the way that Bravos was made and that kind of stuff. It definitely seems like the Faceless Men had a huge hand, if not like the biggest or only hand, in making Bravos. So anyway, that was cool to learn history about that. Kind of wonder what's up with the other girl in the Faceless Men, though, why she kind of has so much vitriol towards Arya. It's kind of like, really, like, dude, like, she's just trying to be where you are, you know what I mean? Like, yes, she came from a different background, but she didn't get to choose that background. I mean, Arya is one of those people to where the stuff that has happened to her has really not been her fault. I mean, yeah, she's not the easiest person to deal with, but damn, like, you just have to feel. I mean, Arya for me is one of those people that you just feel like bad. Like, she's experienced so much tragedy that she didn't even really want, because she just wanted to have family, keep them safe, but enjoy the things that she enjoyed. And she is, she does like being a warrior, and this path, this path is going to make her, I feel, like a legendary warrior. I really think. I really kind of wonder, though, if the Faceless Men are going to start treating her a little bit different when they realize her powers. Because they haven't brought Arya's warg powers into play in the show. However, in the book, they kind of messed around with that. And like I said, I just get this real weird feeling that, like, Arya is going to be like this harbinger of death, man. Like I feel like there's going to be some reason that the Faceless Men are going to be okay with her picking and choosing who she wants to kill. I mean, maybe not. That's not the case, but somehow fate is going to intervene, man. Because otherwise, Arya's story is kind of over. This is just the way that her life, panned out. I mean, if she has nothing else to give to the story except to be this kind of witness in Bravos to see what's going to happen. However, I don't think George R. R. Martin or really people work like that. I think that she will definitely alter or have an impact on the story, which means that she will come in contact with someone else, or at least do something that will affect someone else in the story, because otherwise, like I said, her story is basically over. Anyway, so that was really interesting. Dany's whole thing with Jorah, I thought was really, I mean, dare I say sweet? I don't want to say sweet, because it's like, like, I'm so, the way they handle the love with her is just so kind of cheesy in this show. Glad to see that she definitely, okay, so she still seems very, very, very adamant about going and defeating Westeros and conquering Westeros. That seems, so that's interesting enough. I mean, I think that's going to be, I hope that she does. I hope she does eventually go to Westeros, because this is shaping up. She is something special. I mean, the way that George R. R. Martin said it when he was asked about when Daenerys survived the fire the first time, he said that was like a once in a lifetime miracle event. Or unless he was talking about the birthing of dragons or whatever, and that kind of stuff. But with the way a lot of people took it is that Daenerys is not fireproof. She just happened, that was a magic, like, kind of destiny event. However, the way that the show is showing, I mean, she looked pretty damn fireproof when she burned down the fucking whole cogs. You know what I mean? Like, she burned down a whole building with like a dozen dudes that freaking all perished. And she came out fine even with her hair intact. So, I mean, that kind of connotates something magical. I don't know if that's the show or what, but she's really shaping up. Her and Jon have, like, this, like, magical destiny kind of things about them, to where, like, even when they're supposed to die, they come back, and they somehow, even when they lose all their power, they somehow get into positions where they have even more power. Both of the characters, they're two of the only characters that have progressively gotten more and more power and kind of like bettered their station from where they started in the story. Everyone else that started with power basically lost it and like has devolved into fucking just crazy shit. But those people who are basically the most humble people that started off this story are now like, you know, riding at the head. Both of them, the ending, their ending of their segments in this episode was them riding at the head of an army, basically. Which, in the case of Daenerys, her army now is pretty damn massive. So I really kind of wonder if Jorah. I kind of hope that Jorah cuts off his arm, because I think that he'd be like that badass, like, you know, like that badass veteran that's like all grizzled and like, you know, like all wise and like lost an arm to grayscale. Like, I don't know. I just picture him as being like one of those like cool people if he survives. I mean, I don't know. It would be pretty tragic if he does die. So yeah, from Dany now to going to what I think is one of the most interesting events. Well, I mean, I guess let's say we'll cover what happened in Meereen right now. The whole thing with Tyrion and Varys. I thought it was awesome to see Varys get kind of pissed off at the Red Priestess, because I mean, really, especially what's going on with Melisandre. I mean, the whole Red Priestess, like, R'hllor religion, the Red God religion, just seems very, very fanatical. I mean, all of them seem very passionate in it, but it seems bad. Like, it just, if you don't start playing by their rules, then they'll try to get rid of you, and I feel like that's a very bad thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just seems like a bad call on it. But anyway, so yeah, I think that Tyrion handled it in the best way possible. He knows that people need to keep like their focus on Daenerys, because otherwise people are going to start forgetting about her, and then people are going to start getting attached to new leaders, and things could just go, you know, especially since Daenerys was the only one that really was pushing like anti-slavery and was the one that was like super big on it. So yeah, that's, you know, that could have been an issue. So, but basically, you know, aside from Varys having his, what I feel a very, very healthy skepticism about magicians, because basically, you know, anyone that's trusted them in this series has gotten fucked over. I mean, basically, Stannis died, Daenerys almost died, should have died, you know, and well, you know, lost everything, lost her child and her husband because of one. So yeah, I think that's gonna be interesting to see where that's gonna go. I hope that Varys doesn't die at the hands of this Red Priestess. She seems to have like a very bad tone about her. I always wonder. I wonder why the religion uses such hot women all the time, though. It's like basically Thoros of Myr was like the only one that was like this like ugly son of a bitch that just drank too much. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that was just funny. But shifting to the other side of Westeros, the Iron Islands, I'm really glad that they decided to do this. It definitely seemed a little weird with the way that they handled some things. Like, I don't understand why they didn't give Euron his eye patch. In the book, he's supposed to have this badass nickname called Euron Crow's Eye, where he has like one blue eye and then wears a patch over another eye because it's like super black, or I don't know. They don't say exactly what happened to it or whatever. But like he wears an eye patch over this eye that's just like super crazy. I don't know if it's magical or what. Seriously, they haven't explained it in the book. But anyway, he's supposed to be like this just really like larger than life, almost like gypsy character. He's supposed to like hang out with all these rogues and warlocks and, you know, all this kind of stuff. So they really changed up who he was in this. He was definitely more just kind of like, they kind of like made Euron like still have his same like intelligence, and he's basically the same personality, but they put him in Victarion's mentality. So instead of having like this like really larger than life, like crazy exaggerative like thing that Euron does have in the book series, he has this more like Reaper attitude of like, let's build ships and like fuck shit up, you know, kind of thing, which is more like Victarion. Because in the book, Euron's whole thing is way more what I feel intelligent and feasible. But it is going to be interesting. I am glad that Theon, there was like a second that looked like Theon like could like steal the power for himself. I'm glad he didn't go that route. It just shows that he is like being kind of redeemed, or I feel is working toward redemption. He's not there yet. but it's going in a good direction, and I'm glad, especially right now, him and Yara are going to have to like stick together. I think that's going to be interesting, though, however, because where are these ships going to go? I mean, where can they go that they would find like some sort of friendly thing? However, Theon and Sansa just got kind of back together, so to speak. They're okay with each other. So can Theon fully redeem himself? Sorry, the camera's going out of focus real quick. Can Theon fully redeem himself by helping Sansa take back Winterfell and the North? I think that's what'll happen. I hope that's what'll happen, because that would be like full ownage, and then they would have, well, like what even like Euron said, what Arian said, that they took all the best ships. You know what I mean? So they took a good amount of ships. So therefore, I would say that gives the Night's Watch or Jon or Sansa, whoever's going to use them, that gives basically the North. Hopefully, I hope they go to the North. I don't know where else they would go. But hopefully, that gives the North a fleet now to help them in the wars to come. So that's what I really hope is going to happen. So yeah, I mean, basically the way that they've been doing this season, I feels really, really great. I don't know if it's just because this is like the first time that I'm really seeing stuff like I'm not prepared for. But I feel like this season, compared to like the last two seasons, has just been so much better. Yeah, I mean, I really have to give it commendations, dude. Like, I don't know. I mean, that's the way I personally feel. How do you guys feel about it? I mean, I know there's only a few people that comment, and I thank you guys all for the support and the comments on it. However, like, I'm really asking, like, how do you guys feel this season is shaping up compared to the other seasons? I feel like it's actually pretty awesome. I'm totally okay that we haven't heard about what's going on in Dorne for basically the past 2 episodes. Because, like I said, I mean, you guys know that I really hate the whole Dorne story trope because of the way they kind of just, I feel, ruined it. But anyway, so yeah. Tell me what you guys think, because I really want to know how other people feel. I'm not sure. I feel like I might just be so excited because this is stuff that I'm seeing new things and having some of my theories I feel confirmed. So yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for the support, and please, if we get to the 150 subscribers, I will definitely give that pop. Just gotta hit it. If you guys like, share, whatever you guys got to do, please like share it in some groups. That'd be awesome. Just want to get more fans to talk about it, so that'd be awesome to get get some of my theories out and let you guys hear it to know if you guys like it or don't like it. Am I onto something, or am I fucking crazy? But anyway, until then, Valor Morgulis.